Peter Stanonik is my next guest as he gets ready to compete on October the 9th for XFN in an 8-man lightweight kickboxing tournament. Peter, how are you?
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I'm doing okay. I'm doing good.
Good. Now, as we talked about before we went live here, I was cage side at that Bellator 245 contest against Raymond Daniels, and obviously this really got a lot of attention. Not only did you suffer one low blow, but really back to back. There was two of them, and they were quite brutal.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now? I'm imagining you're back to normal.
I'm doing good now, man. Um, it was tough. The first one actually hurt more. Maybe it was just, I don't know if it hurt more, but it was the shock. The second one, it was more frustrating. It was just because I felt like in my heart I had him on the ropes, and then he got another break. It was still painful. It was just in my head, it felt like, as what I can remember, because the adrenaline is pumping and shit. You don't really, a lot is going on. It was just the thought of, damn, he gets another break, and I was. It took me a while to get his range and stuff, to figure him out. But I felt like I figured him out, and I felt like there was another break. I didn't know they were going to stop the fight. I couldn't. It was hard to breathe, and so when I heard the ref talking to him, "Are you going to give him another 5 minutes?" I wanted to say something, I just couldn't. My body wasn't working. Excuse me. And then I heard him say, "No, we're just going to call it off," and I was kind of frustrated me, man, because I've been doing this for a while, and this was my big break. It was really frustrating to not get the win the way I wanted. So that was what really hurt my heart.
Did you feel like it was intentional? I mean, he said afterwards
No, I don't feel like it was intentional, man. If you want the truth, everybody else saying it was intentional, but nobody else but him and I were in there. I don't feel like it was intentional at all. I just feel like, what my opinion is we are grown men. We're fighting. And when a ref tells you to keep it up, or when he tells you to watch your shots, you're responsible for your shots. I feel like he just wasn't responsible, especially because it had just happened and you went back to the same technique. So in my head, I don't feel like it was intentional. But then again, I go back like 3 or 4 days ago, I kept teeter-tottering. It was like, well, was it? I just feel like, let's just be real, because that's how I'm going to keep it. I feel like he needed a way out, and I think he got exactly what he wanted, was a way out.
How can you compare that to the worst pain you've ever felt before? Because everyone that was cage side that was there, man, I mean, we just felt horrible for you. It just didn't seem like it was anything that any man would ever want to experience, especially twice in a row, back to back. How does it compare to any other pain that you felt before previously?
I've been kickboxing for a while, right? And the difference between kickboxing and MMA is you throw a lot of kicks in kickboxing, and so your insteps, the part where your ankle meets your shin, the little part that swells up, and most guys fracture that shit after a fight. And my style is, I like to throw a lot of punches and finish with a low kick every time, and so that pain doesn't even compare to 2 back-to-back nut shots, man. And it's not just a regular nut shot, man. That's his go-to style. That's his go-to move. He's been doing that for years. He's mastered it, and he threw it with the intention to knock somebody out. He hit me in my dick twice, man, and I couldn't breathe. I really felt like I wanted to throw up, and I didn't, just because it was probably an ego trip. Just, I knew cameras are on me. I didn't want to throw up in a Bellator cage. I don't want to do that, but I felt like I had to throw up. I know that sounds cliche, but I really felt like I had to throw up, man.
How long? I mean, it's probably tough to kind of really go back to that moment and think how long it took you to feel back to normal. But how long was it? Was it 10 minutes? Was it 20 minutes? Like, when did that time come where you were like,
No, the next morning, brother. Yeah, it was the next morning. I had to go to the hospital. They gave me a checkup, checked my nuts and everything, and then it was still pain. It was just it was like how can I explain it? It was just like touching a bruise on your arm or your leg. That's how tender my shit was. And no exaggeration. It's just the pain had subsided. It was just, you know, if you touch a bruise, you know, the bruise is there, but if you touch it, then the pain comes. You know, that's how it felt.
Well,
But
yeah.
when it happened, bro, it felt like I don't know how to explain it. It felt like a cold shock through my body. You know what I mean? It felt like if I felt a huge pain in my back, not to be explicit, but to my gooch, it felt like I don't know. It wasn't like a pain where you hit your tailbone on something, but it's in that ballpark, if you know what I mean. But I felt a pain through my gooch to the top of my back right here. You know what I mean?
Mm. Well, I can say on behalf of all men out there, we're happy to hear that you're back to normal and that it wasn't anything more serious, because it looked bad when that took place, especially after the second one there. Now, as far as the fight goes, you had mentioned that you thought he was looking for a way out. You actually rocked him twice, man. You stunned him in there. You had full mount. How impressed were you with what you were doing in the trajectory of the fight before that happened?
Man, I'm not surprised. Like that's how I fight. I don't use a lot of angles. I don't use you know, I don't use Instagram tips and nothing like this shit. I just come forward and I throw heavy. You know what I mean? I mean I don't use a game plan. I just go in there and fight, man. I train hard and I fight, and I like to come forward. Again, I've done Muay Thai and I've done kickboxing, you know, so I'm really confident in my shell, and so I mean, truth is, I'm not surprised on how it went. It's just I am surprised that I stayed calm. Most of the time, I act erratically. I feed off of emotions, and when I feel somebody is hurt, I come forward. But I think you know, it's been 2 years since I fought MMA, and um, I usually didn't have that much confidence going into an MMA fight because I know a guy's going to take me down or whatnot. But after I felt him try to take me down 2 or 3 times, it was like, you know, I'm good. Now I felt like a sense of like calmness, you know. I felt extremely confident, especially after like I hit him with an overhand. I don't usually like to jab, especially with someone who's bigger than me. But I heard my coach calling for the jab, and then when I saw him back up from my jab, he put himself in a perfect position for the overhand left. And so when I touched him, especially with the lead hook, I caught him with the lead hook very nicely on his chin, and that's when his body language he perceived like he didn't want to be there no more. So that gave me I was extremely confident, brother.
Yeah, the fight was clearly turning in your direction, and I felt like, you know, maybe a finish was in order. That's something that could happen before the fight was over. As far as him goes specifically, did he try to reach out to you afterwards
Absolutely, yeah. He did apologize and stuff like that, but then he felt some type of way because I felt some type of way. You know what I mean? It's not my fault that he did that. He said we can run it back, and then he had posted something on my Instagram. But my guy, you the one who did it. You know, I was fighting you. You know, I did hit him with a low kick. One of the low kicks didn't touch his dick, but one of them did, and it wasn't. And that's just gonna happen if we kickbox. It happens all the time. But you know when you know the trajectory of your kicks, and so when I kicked him, I took something off of it, and I gave him a hand clap, and we were good to go. You know what I mean? But he felt some type of way because I had posted something of me saying, I stopped your takedowns and I pieced you up. I mean, that's just the truth. You know what I mean? I've lost fights, and I take my L's like a man, and I take my dubs like a man. You got to take it like a man and just move forward through the fog, and he didn't. I felt like it was hella disrespectful. Don't take nothing away from me because I don't have 100,000 followers on my Instagram because don't nobody know who I am. I'm still a fighter. I do this. I'm a lifer. So don't disrespect me. That's how I felt about it.
Obviously, right now you're completely focused on this kickboxing tournament on October the 9th, but you want to run this one back with Raymond? You think?
Man, it's not. You know what? No offense to you, but I feel like this is a slap in my face too because I mean, I don't like to speak too much. I mean, I do talk my shit, but I walk my shit too. I mean, I feel like my body language and my integrity and my passion for the sport speaks louder than anything I could say. So it's not even a question I want to run it back. The question is, does he want to run it back? I mean, look at it. I don't even expect him to. I'm a 45er, bro. The last time I fought him, I'd have fought 45 6 times. You know what I mean? I came up to a weight class. Ain't nobody want to fight you. 4 or 5 other people turned this fight down when I was told. I came into your weight class and did exactly what you wanted, and I beat you at your game. So he's 40 years old. He's only 2-1 in MMA. I have more experience in MMA. You know what I mean? I don't think he has anything to gain fighting me. I would love for him to, but let's be real. Let's be honest. What does he have to gain for fighting a guy that's going to knock him out?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that your last fight before Daniels was at 145, because I was looking at you when you were getting in the cage. I'm thinking to myself, how can this guy make featherweight? What do you walk around at?
I walk around like it's 70, about 70. Yeah, featherweight. I mean, that's a tough cut, but I've missed weight there before too. But I've made weight as well. It's just I do it on my. I got this little ego and I don't even know if it's the ego, man. It's just the way I was raised. I kind of had to I had to grow up really quick. You know what I mean? I lived in a shelter for 2 years. I was in and out of jail. So this mindset, my dad was gone. So it was my mindset, I got to do all this on my own. So I was cutting weight on my own. I would go to Gold's Gym, do it on my own, getting hot baths by myself. And so if I got a team around me, the 45 could actually be a lot easier. If I can make it on my own, then I know I can do it with my team a lot easier. But no, I'm really a 45er, but I lift a lot of weights. I'm pretty strong for my size, and so yeah, I'm really a 45er. But I mean, if you get presented an opportunity, how do you say no to it? Especially in a predicament. Look, man, I didn't even expect to get a fight this whole year. 3 or 4 months ago, my mind was messed up because as a full-time fighter, no job, no other skills. It puts you in a place to where you feel like you're a piece of shit. You have no purpose, you know. And so about 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, I was just in this mindset of like, well, fuck everything, you know, which was not hindsight's 2020. I just kept digging a hole deeper and deeper. But I have my tribe. I have these 3 dudes that I look at as brothers, and one day they just popped up to my house out of nowhere. And from that day forth, it was like, I can do better. I need to set an example. And so they kind of got me out of this depression I was in. And, you know, I took it and ran with it. And then God blessed me with this opportunity. And I took it. There's a lot of fighters that wanted to be in my position that can't fight it. You know what I mean? And so I would look like a piece of shit turning down a fight. I wanted it anyway. I was offered another fight at 55 against a dude 3-0. I took that one too. I would much rather fight Raymond Daniels than some nobody at 3-0, some at 55. So I took it. I felt confident.
What is your current contractual situation with Bellator right now? Obviously, you're fighting for XFN. So what does the future look like for you with this promotion?
So they gave me a 2-fight, 1-fight optional. So if they liked the way I competed and shit, they can bring me back. The main thing that hurt me about this fight, man, is again, I'm 32. I'm trying to raise a family. I want kids. I want to be able to provide for kids. I want to have a wife. I want to bring to the table what my old lady does. And so every man wants to feel like that, you know? And so with this contract, I was contracted, you know, a certain amount of money. And then on my next fight, if I won this one, it goes up substantially. That was the worst part for me is when I thought about it during the fight, I actually hit the ground. That's why I hit the ground, is because I just lost out on a lot of money, and it wasn't my fault. You know, I'll take my L's as a man, and if I fuck up, I'm going to say it. You know, I own it. It was just I did everything right, man. I drove all the way to Kansas City to go train with James Krause and Glory MMA. I came back down here. I did what I was supposed to. My coaches said stick to low kicks and come forward, pressure him. I did everything I was supposed to, you know, and it was taken from me. And so, you know, Yeah, but contractually, I'm able to kickbox because that's what I do. I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm a kickboxer that'll fight MMA. You know what I mean? So um, they appeased it, and so hopefully by the end of the year, by December, I get another fight with Bellator.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And that's great to hear because I think the fans would love to see you back inside the Bellator cage before 2020 closes out. Did you get a chance to talk to Rich or Scott afterwards? I mean, did they?
Yeah. Rich called me as I was leaving the hospital and asked if I was doing okay. We talked for like 15 minutes on the phone. He was very very empathetic to my situation, man. And that's what that's what kind of sold me on him. Was like, for one, he didn't have to call me. For two, he got another card showing up. He probably got wife and kids. He got a call. Take care. He had other obligations, but he called me personally. He didn't have one of his people call me. So that was like, okay, he's a real one. And yeah, he asked me if I run it back with Raymond, and it's absolutely. That's not. Yeah. But when I watched the post-fight conferences that Raymond had, he was looking everybody in the eyes when he was talking to him. But when they asked him, would you run it back with him? He turns his head, looks down, and that's when he says, yeah, he would do it. Body language says more than anyone, but than anything that you could say. So I don't feel like he would. Maybe now, if he sees the interviews, he'll buck up. But I mean, again, I don't blame him if he doesn't, because it's a lose-lose situation for him. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we'll see. Hopefully something good happens for you, whether it's the Daniels fight or they give you something else here in Bellator before the end of the year is over. Now, you mentioned going and training up at Glory with James Krause. Is that something you're going to do more moving forward?
Oh, I cross-trained up there for the past 4 years. I stayed up in the fighter house for 2 months with James Krause. James Krause is the best coach in the world. Hands down, best coach in the world. He gets underlooked because he's not in California. They're out there in Lee Summit, Missouri, where there ain't shit there but to train. Bro, that core group of people he has brought up from the ground. Like at a certain level, as a professional fighter, you reach this pinnacle. You always can get better, but in your head, you think you're good enough to go anywhere. Those people have been embedded to Glory MMA since they started with James, and there's a reason why. Not only is James a dope-ass fighter, but the dude, we talk all the time, right? He sends me texts and no clout chasing or nothing, but when he texts me, when I text him and said, "Hey man, let me come up there and camp again," there was no question. I knew he would say, "Yeah." The dude sends me $200 as we're on the phone. I check my phone. It's a Cash App, $200 to get me up there. He don't expect it back. None of that. Yeah, absolutely. If 2 years ago, I was thinking about actually making the move up there, but then I ended up getting my house in Killeen, and my Team Ambush moved to San Antonio. So I just decided I would drive from Killeen to San Antonio 4 times, 5 times a week to go train with my team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's a really
MMA,
cool story.
MMA camps, I'm going to spend all my MMA camps up there in Glory, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's a really cool story too about James. He really is. Clearly he's a great fighter, but that stuff is the type of stuff that people outside of his inner circle don't really get to hear about. That is really, really cool. I've interviewed Kevin Kroom and Grant Dawson recently. They've got a squad up there, and so that'll be exciting to see you back getting some working with those guys. Now, as far as this kickboxing tournament goes, this is crazy. This is like the old school days where you're going to have to fight 3 guys in one night. There's a $10,000 grand prize, and it's a good mix of guys. I mean, you got Brian Foster, Matt Probin, Alfred Walker, just to name a few. There's a lot of good guys in this tournament. What kind of run me through what this is going to be like? Are they going to be just hand-picking matchups once you get there?
I'm not sure how the bracket's set up right now. My coach just asked me. He just asked me last night. I should talking as Dale Cook what the matchups are going to be, what the first round is going to be like. But like when I first started fighting, it wasn't MMA that I was drawn to. It was kickboxing, like the golden days, right? The golden days of kickboxing, where everybody that was in there was a monster, and so you would have to. Back in the golden days, they would have to fight 3 or 4 times a night just to get a paycheck, man. And they're not paying like what Bellator is paying, but for me, it's not the pay. It's like at the end of my career, I want to be able to say I fought 3 times in one night. I want to say that I was able to push through and beat 3 guys in one night in my sport. This is what I do. Kickboxing is what I do. And so it feels really good to be a part of it, man. I want to appreciate, I really appreciate Dale, because he had one before, and I tried to get on there, and he said he would put me on to the next one. It was a little too late. And he actually reached out to me and asked me if I'd be on the card, and I absolutely obliged to it. So yeah, I feel very grateful, very lucky to be on this card.
When you look at the guys in this tournament, is there someone that you feel like is the guy to beat, or someone that you have your eyes on that you would like to fight?
I want to fight J-Ho, dude. That dude pulled out. That dude is not a fighter to me. I don't care how many tattoos or how many people you hold pads for, man. It's either you want to fight or you don't. We were supposed to fight back in August of last year, Glory 71 in Chicago. Yeah, Glory 71 Chicago. We were matched up. And this is what happened. I missed weight by 0.7 pounds, right? The first weigh in. You get another hour. You get to the next hour or whatever to go cut. So I went to go cut the 0.7. Any bitch ass dude who says go 0.7 instead of taking money just don't want to fight in the first place. But I obliged. I went to the LA Fitness down the street that was 4 minutes away with Mike Mencia and Bobby Pete and Roberto LeBoy. We went to go cut the weight. I'm sitting in the sauna, and Bobby's on the phone the whole time while I'm sitting in the sauna cutting this 0.7, easy work. He gets on the phone, Bobby's on the phone with his team, and he says, you know what, we'll take the 10%. I said, okay. So we get out of the sauna, get back there in less than 5 minutes. My team is behind me. I'm walking down there to weigh in, and then I hear he wants 20%. And then I went off. Like, I went off in front of everyone, man. And I called his girl names. I called him names. I said, fuck your team. Let's fight. He turned the fight down right then and there, man. Right then and there, he played me. That's exactly what happened. He played me. So and it's not the first time he's done something like that before. He did that, I guess, from what I've heard, at Legacy Kickboxing 3. He was supposed to fight a guy named Angel Worth, I believe. And he did something of the sorts before. It pissed me off because I was already at the sauna. I spent 2 minutes in the sauna, 3 or 4 minutes, I would have got the weight off. But then, or not even, maybe a little longer, but I would have got the 0.7 off. But he played me. You know, he went from 10%. When I got there, I hear 20%. And I got him to his face. You don't want to fight, blah, blah, blah. He had to call us. I was by myself. My team was maybe 30 yards behind me. I was standing there by myself saying this girl looks like Shrek. You don't want to fight me type shit. And so any man that don't want to fight a man who makes fun of his girl in front of him, you're not a fighter. You're not a fighter, period. You don't want to fight somebody. You don't want to fight somebody over a 0.7 and you're getting an extra 10%. You don't want to fight, period. That's just how that works. We can call it a business, but everything was in his court and he still didn't fight. But he had the nerve to show up to the fights the next night. I'm like, dog, you just took food away from me. And come to find out, he got cut from Glory for doing some dumb shit. You can't do that, bro. You can't do that. So that's the real story. Whatever else he has to say is bullshit. I just don't respect him, man. I don't respect nobody like that, period. So I want to fight J-Ho. I hope I get him in the first round.
Yeah. How long does that fight last?
Not even a round. Not even a round. You can check my list. All my wins by knockout. I knock people out, and it's not TKOs. I knock people out.
Yeah, well, that would be exciting. I would love to see that matchup, especially in the first round. You know, it was kind of funny. I randomly ran into Matt Probin the other day, and I mentioned that I was going to be speaking to you, and he told me to say hello, and he has nothing but respect for you. And he said if you guys get matched up, he said no spinning stuff. He won't throw any spinning stuff towards you after what happened for Bellator 245. So I wanted to just pass that info along. He's a good
do what you got to do to win. Just don't hit my dick. Because then if somebody else hits me with a spinning back kick in my dick, we going to be fighting outside too.
What do you think of Probin as a fighter and that matchup?
I have no idea who that is. I'm going to be honest with you. The only person that I know who's on that card is J-Ho, Brian Foster, and the Soto dude because he fought in Glory. But honestly, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who is he? What is he?
He's a kickboxer. He's from over in the UK. He's up in
Well,
my area now in New England. I run into him fairly regularly. He's a good guy. He's a little bit shorter in stature, but he's a very good fighter. Very skilled kickboxer.
I'm the shit. No disrespect, but the only thing I worry about is me in the sport, and I think that's how it should be. Because if you're worried about so many other things, man, you got this much energy. Every time you worry about something else, your energy keeps going down. There's only 24 hours in a day. I have to focus on me, my old lady, my dogs, my team, my dad, my sister. I can't focus on so many things at once. My mind don't work like that, you know? So no disrespect to these other fighters. I just don't have the time or the energy to. But shit, I'm anybody. I'm so confident right now. Look, man, I've been in camp for like 5, 6 months. I'm always in shape. I'm ready to fight anybody, anyone on this card. I think I'm gonna win this thing.
Now, this will be on UFC Fight Pass. Do you know, will they allow fans in the arena for this?
That was a good question. I had somebody ask me if I'm selling tickets, and I'm not selling tickets, but I wasn't even sure if they're gonna even allow fans into the card because Bellator wasn't, and so I'm not sure. To me, I love that. I loved it. I love to be able to hear his corner. I love to hear my corner. I love to hear the oomps, the uhs. There's no fans. You can't feed the fans for you. You have to fight. You have to fight. There's no trying to be entertaining. You entertain by fighting. You know what I mean? I like that. I like that feeling, bro. It was awesome. I wish fights were like that all the time. Like fans could sit outside or some shit, but let us fight. You know what I mean? I like that feeling.
When do you
It's
leave
like,
for the casino?
say again.
When do you leave for the casino for this kickboxing tournament?
I'm figuring that out too. In my head, we were only going to drive 4 or 5 hours, right? But then I talked to my coach yesterday, and he said it's an 8.5-hour drive. So I might get up there 2-3 days ahead. I might see if the promoter will fly us up because that's a drive, dude. I'm about tired of driving, man. Like I said, for 2.5 years, I was driving from Killeen, Texas, which is next to Fort Hood, and I'm driving out here to San Antonio, and it's a 2.5-hour drive with no traffic. With traffic, it's about 3.5 hours. We got to hit Austin off of I-35. I did that for like 2.5 years, bro. From drive in a F-150. Remember, I don't have a job. An F-150 that gets 11 miles per gallon. I was driving from San Antonio back to Killeen, and when I get home from Killeen, my day's not done. I got 2 dogs I got to feed, and I got to go. I hate prep meals, so I cook my meals every night. I got to hit HEB before they close at 12, and then I got to cook, shower. I'm not in bed till like 1:30 or 2, so I'm about tired of this driving shit, man. I'm getting older, and it's not as fun anymore, and I don't smoke weed no more. And so, like, the weed, that sounds stupid, but when you smoke weed on the road, it makes it entertaining. I don't do that now. So it's like the drive sucked now. It's I don't want to drive no more. I would prefer to fly, but if I got to, shit, I'll do it.
How many cornermen are they allowing you to be there come fight night?
3, I believe. 3. And I got my corner picked out already. I got my core group I've been working with. So if it is 2, it's still fine. I was actually gonna go into the Bellator fight with just 1 cornerman. It really don't matter to me. I'm already like I'm so self-confident, and some people take it as a cockiness, but they don't understand, you know. Bro, I grew up with no lights, no water for a year. We had to shower and shit in an orange Lowe's bucket with my mom. I mean, we had no car when I was in high school. I would have to walk home from football practice. So the confidence only comes from the struggle, and they take it as an arrogance. But then again, I don't know if most have gone through something like that. You know, like I'm not supposed to be here. You know, it's I had to fight some demons to get here. I remember I got this tattoo when I was in a shelter. I lived in a shelter for 2 years. No pity party or nothing, but I just want them to understand, you know, I went through the mud to feel like this. You know, I didn't have any confidence before. I was cross-eyed. I had long hair. I didn't want to take pictures and shit, you know. And so they can take it the wrong way if they want. I'm just so self-confident in myself. 1 corner or 3 corners, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. If you could have a storybook ending to your fighting career. Not to say that you're going to retire anytime soon, but like, what do you hope happens here as 2020 comes to a close, and then 2021, 22, and so on? Like, what is it you're hoping to accomplish before you say, all right, I'm all done. I've accomplished enough in combat sports?
If I can buy my dad a lawnmower, that's it. I just want to buy my dad a brand new John Deere, but preferably a 42-inch zero turn. But if I can afford that, that means I'm where I want to be in life. Yeah, I love fighting. Absolutely, I wouldn't be doing this for so long, But it comes to an age where it comes to a point in your life where you get to the age where you just want to let your parents know that when they pass, you'll be okay. And that's, if I can buy my dad a lawnmower, then I know that financially I'm set. I can raise a family, and when they pass, they don't have to worry about shit. I'm gonna hold it down, So that's it, man. The records and all that shit don't mean nothing. It don't mean a goddamn thing,
Yeah, you're a family man. I love that. That's the most important thing in life. That's very very well said. One last question before I do let you go. As far as, I guess, just your career goes for fighting, is there a time length that you have? Like, do you want to fight for a while longer, or?
Oh yeah. I was fighting before this Bellator fight. The highest paycheck I made was $5,000, boss. That was it, and that was on my 14th professional fight. So now that I've actually gotten to a point where I can feed a family, why would I stop now? I got about 5 or 6, I would say 4 to 5 good years in me left. And right now at 32, I am so primal. Like I can, I walk around at 173 pounds, but I can squat 365. I can bench 320 raw, no lift off, no spot. That's all I do in my house is clean. And clean is I wake up and lift and run and hit a bag. That's it. I don't go out. I don't do anything. I like to play with my dogs. I play Call of Duty whenever I rest, but I don't do nothing else, man. Fun to me is being constructive. Like doing something constructive is fun to me. You know what I mean? So as long as I'm in shape, man, as long as I keep the mindset that I have, not to say that I'm right or wrong, but I feel like right now I'm on the right path. If I stay just in shape and take care of my body, man, I love this. I love making money. I love fighting for money. So I would say a good 4 or 5 years.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good to hear. It gives your fans plenty of time left to watch you compete, whether it's inside the cage or kickboxing ring, regardless of what it is. I lied. I do have one more question. So as far as the natural transition when you do hang it up, do you want to, I know you do some personal training right now, but do you feel like getting into coaching and just going that route will be what you do once you're done fighting?
Yeah. Not to ride my own dick or anything, but I am a good coach. I feel like I would be a great coach. Yeah, I don't know if I want to own a team or anything, or own a gym or anything like that. I'm not sure because it's hard to focus on that when you're so focused on fighting. But absolutely, I want to coach. Yeah, I want to give back. That's how I was. That's the skill that I've developed over these years. And I would look like a fraud if I went to go teach some kid how to change a tire or to go change oil. It would be my way to give back by coaching the skills that I've produced along this journey. That would be my way to give back. Yeah, so absolutely, I would love to be a coach. Yeah, for
Very
sure.
cool. Well, I have no doubt you'd be a phenomenal coach when that time does come. I really appreciate you joining me this morning. I know we played a little phone tag there for a while, but it was a priority of mine, man, to get you here on the show for the first time. Before I let you go, if there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors you have or social media you want to plug, the floor is yours.
I want to thank Team Ambush. I've been with this team for maybe 5 to 7 years, one of the two. And I was going through some shit as a human being, I was telling you, and hurting people hurt people. And I was this close from losing a team that's been backing me up for so long, that's supporting me. And truth is, I want to apologize to everybody on Team Ambush for my actions, man. No cap, no bullshit. I just wasn't being a leader. Even though I didn't sign up to do this to be a leader, I understand that's the role that I've taken. And I just want to, like, from the bottom of my heart, thank Team Ambush for, like, just being there when they didn't have to be, you know. So I got to thank Team Ambush. Mitman Joe, I just got with him about a year and a half ago, and the dude has not left my side. He always wants to work. He's always down to work, but no matter the time. I got to thank my girlfriend. I come home and she has meals cooked. She doesn't trip about me coming home at 12:30. She knows what it is. But most importantly, my dad. My dad has given me this this work ethic. He's 60 years old. He did 30 years in the military, retired in Major, '04. And at the same time, when he was a captain, he was the delivery driver for Domino's, got Employee of the Month twice. At the same time, he was a substitute teacher. So he had 3 jobs at once. And he's 60 years old, retired, and he still works 60 hours a week. Takes care of my house in Killeen, takes care of all the houses that he has. Doesn't have to. He could sit down and live comfortably, and he doesn't. And so I actually got a job yesterday at Crunch Fitness, and my girlfriend was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I said, "Well, yeah. What the hell do I look like? It would be a slap in the face to my dad if I didn't. You know, I got presented a great opportunity, and I got to take it." So I just want to thank him. I want to thank my family, my sisters, Michelle, my twin, my little sister Katie, my mom. So yeah, if y'all want to reach me on Instagram, it's _the_Ronan, the Ronan. Facebook is Peter James Stanonik the fifth. And that's about it, boss. I want to thank you too for giving me your time. You didn't have to interview me, dude.
Oh no, it's truly my pleasure. Like I said, man, I pride myself in being objective, and I thought you were really starting to look very, very good against Raymond in that fight, and a very, very difficult ending that took place. So I'm happy to hear that you're back to yourself, and I wish you the best of luck in this upcoming tournament, and let's do it again soon.
Yes, sir.